This shredded anus of a video is made possible entirely through the support of my very good friend Dax Burvin, the 1997 swimsuit champion of Northern California. If you're interested in supporting more clusterfuckage and really screwy demonstrations like this, check out the links below in the description and see how you can get involved. Thank you.
Hi there guys, welcome back to the shop. So today we have Project Archi episode 11, and this is an involved one, so dig in. It's simple what we're doing, but there's a lot of steps. So we'll try and blast through it as quick as we can while covering what we need to. So this is what you're gonna need. You're gonna need your box of wire here. This is 18 gauge silicone wire, and you're gonna need red and black today. You're also going to need, in your 22 gauge wire, these bags, you're going to need red and black. So I'm just going to grab one bag and maybe that'll be enough. But we're going to use a lot of this all in short pieces. You're also going to need, no, that's it for this one. This is for the next bit, but we'll get to that. I'll probably shoot that today. I'm in a good mood for this. So let's cover what we're going to have to do. We're going to begin by cutting one piece of red 18 gauge wire at 2 inches long. Okay, so that's pretty easy. Now I'm going to do this right here on my bench. I'm going to cut mine at 2.5 because you can always trim it down a little. And then we have to cut a dozen pieces of 22 gauge wire. So you've got your one piece of 18 here. I cut mine at a little over 2. And then you need a dozen pieces of the red at 2 inches long. I hate how this is packaged. It comes like spaghetti. And not the good kind of spaghetti. It's not like spaghetti lesbians. You know what a spaghetti lesbian is? She's straight till she gets wet. All right, so I'm gonna have a seat because this is gonna be a whole thing and we gotta cut a bunch of these. So let's just get comfortable. So I'm gonna cut them all at about 2.5 because that makes me happy. Because when you cut them like this, you're gonna introduce a little bit of additive error, and when cutting wire it's always better to err a little long. Alright, so now we have a dozen pieces of 2 inch long, 2.5, 22 gauge right here, silicone wire, and then we've got one piece of 18 gauge. And they're all, about 2.5. So at this point, I'm going to reach over and kick on my Hako, strip off about a centimeter, give or take, and then twist the wires here. Wow, this is really nice, fine strand wire. So when you buy wire, something that people often don't think about is the strand count. Because you can get 18 gauge where it's, or any gauge, where it's a single wire down the middle, just one single conductor, usually referred to as solid core, and that's pretty common in 18 gauge. Or you can get it with multiple conductors. But the more conductors, the softer, more bendy, and in most ways, easier to work with the cable becomes. That was a little long. And when you get into bigger conductors, anything north of like 6 gauge, the fine strand count, or the high strand count fine strand cables get really nice to work with. They also get bloody expensive. We have some, I think I've still got a little bit left somewhere, like 750 MCM that has a bajillion hair thin wires inside it. oh my god, I love working with that, because if you work with the big stuff, 250 MCM and up, when you strip one of those and it's got like a dozen conductors in it, man, you're in for an arm wrestling day, trying to bend that into cabinets and get to work right. And usually when you're dealing with wires that size, that's what you're going to deal with. Is, you know, it's got, I don't know, maybe 30 strands in there, and they're all pretty big, like 10 gauge, 8 gauge. But that's standard for like power transmission distribution. But when you're working in the high voltage lab and you've got these things getting kicked around on the floor all day and you got to do stuff with them, and especially if there's impulses involved, the fine strain count really makes a difference. And you can see there's very little quality assurance on these. They're all just cut it, strip it. It doesn't have to be exact, because all this is just going to get soldered together in a big blob anyway. All right, so now we got all our things together. We got our tip. Now, if you've followed along in the electronics videos, you know that I am relatively new to this whole process of soldering. I'm not very good at it, but I'm learning fast. I'm figuring stuff out. Now for this particular setup, it would actually be beneficial, because I got my happy magic arm things here to hold stuff, but it would actually be beneficial if I had something that could hold the soldering iron still, like in a clamp on the bench, and then touch my stuff to it. That would actually be pretty cool. But I can't do that, so I'm just gonna clamp the wire in and work from there. This is where you get really lucky, because you don't have to watch all of this. I'm gonna just time lapse right through it. Okay, that's our last one. So now we have that whole set sorted out. There's all my leads, and there's my main. So the next step is to grab an itty bitty zip tie. Actually, I'm going to grab kind of a big one. I'm going to grab a rather sizable zip tie and bundle all these together. Now I'm doing this with a rather thick zip tie. It's like, I don't know, about a 1/4 inch thick, because I want to just spread that down the length of the wire a little bit, as opposed to a super tiny zip tie. So these are all relatively similar in tip. Now there's variation here in how far I stripped it, because I'm a hack and should get off the internet, but they all come out pretty close to the end. And by cinching this down tight, these splay out a little bit. We'll come back to that. So on this end, you want to bring this right down into the middle of all of those. And then that goes in together. So now what we got to do is solder all of those together into one big blob. At least that's what the manual says. I have no idea how the hell to do this effectively without burning the shit out of my hand. But I'm going to try just applying heat out here way away from my hand. And seeing if I can, yeah, that gets hot really fast. Okay, that's not my smartest idea. Okay. I gotta figure this out before this turns into an electro boom version of learning how to solder. Hey, shit, I got an idea. I have these, and these, and these. All right, so I'm going, now the problem is these are gonna act as heat sinks, but not on the whole thing all at the same time. So I can put this here and smush those together a little bit and just solder the shit out of them. Oh, that gets hot really fast. Like really, really hot. These here. That there. That there. Wow, that doesn't look clusterfucky. Okay. Our wank factor is going through the roof here. Okay, now can I do this? I have no idea. Is it wrong that I just want to take a fucking flamethrower to this? Like, it seems to me like really the best option here. I'm just gonna blob this in here and massage it around. Now, you stay in there. You're the special one. Fuck! It's burning my hand. Okay, we're gonna let that cool. It's gonna take a minute because it's a fucking huge. This isn't soldering; it's welding at this scale. All right, now we're gonna spin that around, right round, baby, right round, like a solder joint, baby. All right, now I want to do this side, and I'm gonna fuck. All right, I can't. Oh my god! I gotta hold the iron. I gotta hold the thing. This is so jank. So very jank. Okay, I want you there, and I want you here just for lateral stability. There. And then it goes all limp and floppity like. Wow, that just sucked up all that solder in there. I will allow that this is perhaps not my most aesthetically pleasing handiwork in my many years of soldering experience. Go there. All right, we're together enough. Oh wow, that got super hot. There's a lot of heat to wrangle in this. All right, let's bring that down with that. That's our primary positioning system. And maybe it's enough at this stage. I'll put a big old glob of solder on here. I'm just going to run a bucket of solder into this joint. Don't fall up. Oh my God, it fucking fell up. Oh my shit. Oh, you suck so bad. I was doing so good. I was doing so good. I was happy. For a moment, I knew joy. Oh, fuck. We'll get there. We'll get there. Just stick with me. It's going to be all right. Everything's going to be fucking fine. I got half a roll of solder here, burning the shit out of my fucking hand. I just need you to soften up. Just, come on. Just soften up a little bit. I should put a big one up here and the little one down here. Like that. I know there's a better way to do this. I don't know what the better way is. But what's really kicking my ass is the knowledge that I'm going to have to do this all over again with the black wires. And now I got so many things on here that it won't melt again because I'm sucking all my heat out the tweezers. Let's add a little solder, get some kind of... Oh, there we go! Look at it all come back together! Yeah! Fuck yeah! Oh my God! That was actually kind of fucking cool. You just keep dumping heat into it. Add a little solder to increase your conductivity, your thermal conductivity. All right. Are we good there? Should we? I want this to be a little better. More blobby, less sobby. Okay, nice shiny joint. Oh, that's really fucking terrible. So, ow, shit, that's hot too. Okay, so we're just gonna let this chill the fuck out. I'm gonna give that a moment to cool off before we re-examine it. And while that cools, I'm gonna start cutting all the black wires because that too is a bit of a job. So you're gonna need the exact same thing with the black wires, except you need 13 of the 22 gauge instead of a dozen. So I'm totally cutting this at 3 inches because I want a little extra length there. And I'm gonna strip them a little shorter, or at least try to, so that I can consolidate that joint in there a little bit. And I'm gonna tin them as I go because fucking why not? This is our last one. You just get it hot at the base and work it all the way out to the tip. So there's the difference between my first one and my last one. I actually learned things. That's not so bad. Cool. Now I gotta do the shitty part. So what I'm gonna do on this one, I'm not really fucking sure. I'm just gonna sit here and stare at it and hope for a moment's inspiration. Fuck, I know what I'm gonna do. All right. I'm gonna get them all down to the same lengths. All right. And I'm going to grab a zip tie. Now I'm fully expecting this zip tie is going to melt to some degree. Fuck, not this one, because it's going to fall apart trying to put the damn thing on. Okay. Cheap Chinese shit-ass zip ties. I got opinions. Alright, let's grab this one. Get it in there. And get you out of the way. Alright. Okay, so let's go through and make sure all these are the same. God damn it. I'm coordinated. Okay. We want to get all these to line up down at the bottom. We good? We got everybody? Okay, cool. And then we'll put that on there. Now I get this right down close to them. Like really close. And then TIT tight. And then I'm going to get a pair of needle nose and smush these together. Because they're all tinned. So maybe that'll help what was holding their shape. It doesn't really. So I'll try twisting them together, which actually kind of hurts because there's sharp pokey bits in there. All right, so we're already looking better than we were last time. That's an improvement. Trim off my zip tie. All right, so I'm going to put this on my holder. I'm gonna add a second zip tie because that first one's probably gonna melt. And that's okay. But I'm just gonna bind this down. A lot, because the more rigid I can make this, the more better it'll be. Okay, so that's some heavy bondage happening here. Oh yeah. It's like my Tuesday nights. All right, so that's down tight. Extreme cable bondage. Alright, this is gonna fucking suck. That's all there is to it. We know it. We know it's gonna suck going in. And we're gonna fuck that pig. So I'm going to begin by inserting this into the center of the cluster. Now my cluster is at rest much tighter than the previous time. Like I've got this mechanically much better than the first round. I have faith in that. That faith may be absolutely fucking misappropriated, but I'm gonna try. Okay, and I'm gonna let that cool. And what we're gonna do is just work our way around this. Because that's the only way really to do it is in sections. There's so much thermal mass there that you got to do this in pieces. Hey, I got more than, fuck. All right, I got an idea. I'm just going to add a bucket of solder. cool thing is here, I'm working with silicone wire, so I don't really have to worry about over-temping the wire. And I've literally got like a giant gob of solder just fell off of that, so I know I'm saturated. Hot as balls. Okay, I think we got it. Let's see what the other side looks like. Nope, that's naked. All right, we got to heat that up on this side and play our game again. All right, so now we got to put all this together, and my plan is to hold the top up there and this down here, and I made sure that's not under tension or anything, at least the best I can. And I'm just going to get my tip nice and clean. There, we're shiny. And I'm going to pound heat into this thing and just dump as much heat into it as I can. Now, I've spent the past couple weeks, as you've seen in the electronics series, learning the very early basics of soldering, but this is not that kind of soldering. This is the fuck on the floor and break shit Rammstein version of soldering. I'm literally, it's like a bukkake festival. I'm just dumping this shit in with as much heat and as much anger and as much rage. Oh, no, you fuck, get in there. Get in there. I will hate fuck you to a crygasm. Okay, so we know we got enough solder. Now I'm just going to hold that for a minute and let that do its thing. I think we're good. I think we're fucking okay. It's ugly, but it'll do. I mean, the whole damn thing's only got to hold like 5 volts. Oh wow, that's hot. All right, so we're just gonna let that. Oh, that's goddamn. That looks like Jackson Pollock solder course. That's terrible. But I think it'll be okay. I've seen worse. I've done worse. I've done connections like this with fucking pipe clamps on a much larger scale, but same idea. So I think it'll be okay. But it sure as hell ain't pretty. And when you do this step, please comment in with pictures of your results, or better yet, video of how you got those results. Teach me, roast me, I don't care. I want to see you do better, because I've been soldering like 2 weeks. Okay, I'm very new to this, and this is not for the faint of fucking heart. I'm going to see if I can get these out of here without cutting shit. I'm just going to cut the big one right off, and if I just keep cutting bits here, eventually that's going to fail. Because I'm kind of nervous about cutting a wire and having to do all that all over again, because I don't want to do that again, and you can't make me. You're not my real dad. All right. There. Well, I've seen worse. That's all I'm going to say about that. Also, my mat here, I don't think it's solder proof. That might be a lasting impression there. No, it comes right off. Hey, how about that? That's not so bad. And look, I got like a little solder wafer cookie. Yeah. I'll just leave that on the floor. It's nice and shiny, and maybe the dog will eat it. All right, let's throw that in the trash can. There. All right. So our next step, because the hits just keep on coming, now that we've got our red bundle and our blue bundle, we got to heat shrink them. Because, well, if you're going to make something that looks like a hickey on a hemorrhoid, you should at least try and hide it. This is not workmanship that you want to share with the whole goddamn world, and everybody's going to be looking at your really cool robot. So, wow, that's... If you ever want to know what my first welding job looked like, I gotta fix that. I gotta try. I'm gonna I'm going to see if just dumping some heat into that and pouring some solder on it here flat on the bench will let us unfuck that a little bit, maybe. I gotta try. That looks better. Like, it looks like chicken shit, but at least a higher class of chicken. All right, so now let's get some heat shrink. And entomb this in a sarcophagus of not quite so ugly. I'll grab 2 reds, 2 blacks. A red and black here is slightly smaller, and we'll see how this works. Okay, so we're going to go with the black one first, here. See if we can get this to come out decently. And what I'm going to do is take a big ass piece of black heatsink. Slip that down over that. Now I want to have my blob relatively centered in there. And I grab my little heat gun. It's not going to shrink down very well on the far end, but we'll come back to that. It's this end that I really care about. Okay. Now we'll set this aside and let it cool a minute while we do the same operation to the red. Now, yeah, I could probably trim that down if I wanted, but it doesn't really matter, so. I love the way heat shrink does that. It's just, heat shrink's just fun. Just made of fun. Okay. Now we go back to black, and we're going to step down a size. I could go even tinier than that, I think. But let's put this on and see what we get. See how tight I can make that with this one. Okay. Now we'll let that one cool down. We'll drop the slightly skinnier red on here. Line it up to the end. Okay, now just for kicks, I'm going to see if I can get down one more size on the red. I don't know if I can, but I'm going to try. If I can do it on the red, I'll try it on the black. Okay, I'm going to cut this because I don't need the whole length now. And really, I'm just banding this to try and suck that down tighter. I don't know if it'll work. It might not. But let's see. Yeah, it's not letting it shrink any tighter. So that's just a really well protected joint. So I'm not going to do that on the black because it's not going to get me anything. You can see there's a lot of room inside there. And also this is really hot. But there you go. That's our pieces. We made a thing. It was not easy. It was not quick. All right, well, we made it. We made both of them. And it's done, and it's good, and I'm happy we made it that far. This was not fun, but we got it. And I want to thank everybody who watched live and hung out with me while we did this. That was a hell of a lot of work for 2 little tiny bundles of wire, but we got it. Episode 11's in the can, so you guys have fun. I'm Chris Boden, and you're not. And as always, we'll see you next time. Sync for main. Sync for main camera. Okay, so now I have a dozen. What? Shit. Shit. Gotta get it on the fucking shot, yo. That looks like a fucking modern art masterpiece, doesn't it?